how did retirement start? Why did you choose to retire? Were you not hitting the same numbers? Like, is it getting too tough on you life-wise? Like, what happened?
I think ultimately the drive and the passion and the flame kind of slowly went away. And ultimately, I tried to qualify for 2016. I was 40 years old, but Father Time caught up with me, and I got a toe injury on my left big toe, and wasn't able to compete. And I was part of the last 5 athletes remaining for the Olympic trials process. 3 were going to go, and I was one of the 2 that got left off. And it was my first games that I had not been a part of. But I was trying to be the only triathlete in our sports history to go to all 5 Olympic Games that we've had so far, to be the only athletes gone to 5. There's been only 2 athletes that have done 4, myself and Simon Whitfield in Canada.
That's been triathlon.
In the sport of triathlon. There's been other Olympians that have gone to 6 or even 7 if you're a shooter or maybe equestrian, other like more technical sports, right? There's been some volleyball players that have gone to 5 and 6. Gymnastics, there's been, I think, another country that's gone to 7. But in my sport, I'm only one of 2 people in the world to go to 4 games, and then it was trying to go for my 5th. But the desire to not knowing that the medal was no longer a chance, I was too old to actually think that I could actually win a medal in my heart. But I was just going back to make a team. That bar wasn't big enough. That goal wasn't grand enough. And so for me, I get up in the mornings and I miss workouts, or the workout wasn't going well, and then I would just back off and say I can do it tomorrow. It wasn't a seized everyday mentality. It wasn't enjoying the grind. It was looking, is there something else I could be doing? What else should I be doing? Those kind of things. So eventually, like you said, I think you said earlier, life just kind of catches up with you, And for me, if I could still do it at the level I could, but I'm 42 years old now and I can't compete with 26-year-old athletes that are just, their bodies are totally different places than where I am.
And it becomes a spiral as well. In the same way you had an upward spiral maybe 20 years ago,
yes,
where you're like, oh, I just got the sponsorship. Oh, yes, I'm getting better. Oh, I can still get way better. Oh, look, I can actually work harder. Yep. You see results, makes you work harder. See results, makes you work harder.
Absolutely.
On the descent, you start seeing, oh man, no matter how hard I train, my time is decreasing.
Right.
You feel worse. Like,
right,
oh man, I don't want to work out today.
It's true. But my descent wasn't too long. It was actually pretty short and pretty quick. And for me, because I was in a sport that was able to last a long part of my career, I mean, triathlon, you peak in your mid-30s. So I was lucky to be in a sport that lasted 20 years. I could have been in a sport that maybe, your career is up to mid-20s and then you're done, Mm-hmm. But I think my descent was probably the last 3 years, 39, 40 years old, right around there is probably when, at my London Games, I was running my best times ever in 2012 when I was 36 years old. Mm-hmm. Even though I finished 14th, I was still training the best. I was still seeing those results where I was like, man, my track times are better than they were when I was 34. This is amazing. Or when I was number 1 in the world,
Yeah.
So.
Well, all athletes age out of it.
Absolutely.
You're one of the many who've been in the Olympic Games and pro sport.
It's true.
So what's your profession now? So you talked about how you work with the Olympic Committee and so forth. Is that what you like? What does life look like now, on all regards? You live in Colorado Springs. You work heavily with Olympics. Mm-hmm. So is that what you do now?
So I kind of piece it all together. So I basically I'm on the board of the Olympic Museum. Mm-hmm. So I do that. I do speaking gigs with the Olympic Committee. So I travel around the country and speak to guys about the Olympic Games. Maybe people that we're trying to fundraise for the Olympic Foundation. So I'll do stuff like that. I'll do stuff with kids triathlon, so I'll get paid and kind of make a little bit of a living and earning doing that as far as on the sponsorship side. So I'll try to bring in revenue. There's 5 races that we do. One's in Houston, one's in Dallas, one's in Jacksonville, one's in Boston, and one's in Atlanta. Those are the 5 events. It's not what I started. It started in 2009, but I've come on to enhance it, to try to bring a bigger spotlight to it. LA Fitness has come on board as a sponsor.
That's my gym.
So There you go. Perfect. They'll be sponsoring hopefully this year as well. And so I'm there to try to bring in new blood and new sponsorship and new eyeballs to the kids triathlon family setting that we're trying to create with these events. So that's my role in doing that. So I do kind of a whole bunch of different things where I'm making money, but speaking, the kids triathlon side, doing stuff with the board of the United States Olympic Museum, and are my main focuses right now. But I've done well enough in the sport to kind of allow myself to not, it's not enough. I'm not making enough probably to support my family and 5 kids, right? I have a lot of going out right now, right? Bills and expenses, but it's enough to whereas I can stay afloat and maintain until I figure out what my next passion is. You know, and I'd love to kind of talk to you and speak to you a year from now, just even 12 months, to have enough time to kind of find out what it is. And I have ideas of where I think I'm going. You know, I'm very entrepreneurial. I've done it my own way. I never had a boss my entire career. It's always been me kind of figuring things out through sponsorship, through endorsements. And I love to kind of, you know, I'm not going to be a 9-to-5 guy. I'm not going to be a guy that's going to sit in a cubicle and be behind a desk the entire day. I need to be out. I need to be with people. And I need to be talking and engaging and connecting with others. And so it'll be some kind of sales role, some kind of spokesman role, something along those lines, guiding something that I'm passionate about.